Hello, Namaste, Adab. Today we have Mr. Aneesh Daniel. He's the director and founder of Shepherd Films. Welcome, sir.
Thank you.
So, to start with, I wanted to ask you, what is your professional journey like as a director and producer?
Long back in a youth magazine, they asked me to write down your special ability. And then I wrote in that saying that to dive in deep and get the pearls without the knowledge of swimming. So that has been my journey even as a producer and as a director, that I have ventured into this area without any knowledge. And getting out the pearls is not easy. But yes, the journey has been smooth, but then challenging, and it's enjoyable. It's a creative challenge, so you enjoy the creative challenges. So in that way, I can say that everyone should give a try in life if you love something, if you want to do something, if you want to achieve something, give a try, and that's what I did.
So, how did you start Shepherd Films? Were there any challenges? If so, what were they?
Uh, Actually, initially I started 10 years of my life was in Bombay, and I worked there with great directors. One of them was Mr. Jijo. I worked with him. He's one of the directors who made the first 3D film called Chota Chaitanya, long back. And then I was with him for 2-3 years in Kerala. Then I worked with Ms. Kavita Chaudhary, and then worked other directors also. Mr. Bharatrangachari is one of them. Likewise, I worked with very good directors under them. When I came out of that and then started directing my own, that is one time when I thought I need to also become a producer to have a little bit of a creative strength in my hand. Because as a director, uh, you are basically going through the creative journey, creating something, but then there is a strong, budget challenges you face with the producer sometimes. So, as a director and a producer, I thought it would be good that I can be a director, but then also I can be a producer so that I can say, okay, let me invest a little bit more on this actor because he is good, though it is over my budget, and I might reduce it in this area. So that is where I decided, and I said, okay, let me start. And then I started my first proprietorship company. I started that was for 2-3 years, and then I thought, no, I should have a proper, well-established company, and that's when the whole idea came, and we thought up a lot. And then there is a friend of mine called Sham Jain, a great friend. He suggested me the name Shepherd Films, and I said, that's great. And then when I went to my CA, and CA said, no, if you start a private limited company, there's a lot of challenges you will face. And I said, I know, even though I am not going to do profit, but I know. And I said, no, we'll do it. So there's been a lot of ups and downs. Yeah. So to get the work and to get, so that is also one challenge. But then you will have to file the returns and you have to do things very honestly. So that is when I thought I should have a little bit more creative, what do you call it, liberty. Right. That's why I thought of having one production.
So, as a director and a producer, what is your favorite aspect and what is not so favorite aspect?
The favorite aspect is creative on the script writing, because that is when you are creating, you are visualizing, you are being, you know, intimate with the subject and trying to create something beautiful. You're like thinking, your thinking process.
It is your vision.
Your vision, yeah. And not only that, but you have to work out on a script, you have to work on the dialogue. So that is a very interesting journey. Once that is sorted out, then I think you have one half of your, you have crossed half of your journey. Not so favorite. I think the fear is once you have done the shooting, then comes is to see the rushes, and you say, oh, kaisa hoga, how will it be? that is a little sort of risky thing when it makes you see the result aane wala hai.
Uncertainty.
Yeah, uncertainty is there. So that is where I should say, and that's good. That fear has to be there. If unless and until that fear is not there, how do you do everything?
True, true. What are the different mediums that you have created content for in the past?
I've done. See, feature film is the ultimate goal for a director,
Right.
irrespective of you make it for OTT or you make it for television, but you want to see your film in the big theater and big screen. There is no satisfaction watching the audience when you take the audience of 1,000 or a little more, a little less in a journey in a locked, black, dark room. That is what is ultimate. But I think I have I've done quite a few of different content from corporates to advertising. I've done a lot of advertisements, but I still want to do a music video which I haven't done.
Oh,
So I need to do one music video, and that is tough because music is not my cup of tea. So sometimes it becomes difficult to create something which is not your cup of tea.
but I think all this while, whatever you have told us till now, all I can see is you have always chosen the path which is not traveled by you.
Yes,
before.
yes.
So I think it's just another path.
Yeah, just another path. Yeah, I think I wanted to do that, but I want to do in a different way. So yes, I that's another quality which I prefer. I tell people to do that is take the path which is lesser traveled,
Right.
less traveled.
So whatever projects you have worked with, if do you ever think that you want to make any changes to any project that you have already completed in the past? Does this thought ever crosses your mind? And if so, what would be that change and why do you want to change?
I feel that what is done is done. I prefer to live in the present, but I also take the learnings from the past projects and try and implement it with the new project. Sometimes you want to do and go back to the past, but it has never crossed my mind to do that. But yes, probably I can say that the only thing which I want to go past and do that is when I was growing up as a director, from an assistant director to a director. Probably that journey, I wish I would have had somebody to directed me or to guide me through
Right.
it. That 10 years I started and worked as an assistant director under so many directors. Nobody taught me, but yes, they taught me with their work. I saw them, but I wish there would have been somebody to guide me
Mentor.
through, mentor me. That is why I love mentoring people, because I feel that someone you should be humble yourself and say, please teach me. Even though if you have come from big school from US or Paris or anybody, but unless and until somebody who has traveled on that road and tells you, even though you know driving and you are in an F1 car, but somebody who has traveled on that road and say, drive it this way.
Right.
Will help you. So that is what I think I miss, and I wish I would have had.
It's so true because with experience comes the practical hurdles or the good, bad, ugly of any project. So somebody who can mentor you, you are already halfway through. You will not make those mistakes and you can do a better job out of the project.
And I tell all the youngsters who are in their, taking the journey of filmmaking, I said, get somebody whom you can be, I should say, relying on, and then take inputs from them. Because see what happens, people do come, they come for a certain time, they do, and then they move out, and they do, and they move out, and then so they never learn. But if you in the olden times, which I remember, there have been a lot of assistants who have worked with the director for a longer time, and they have taken the essence of their characteristics, their creativity, their temperament that way. But nowadays, it is everybody is hopping from one project to the other, which is not bad, which is definitely good. But then you should, if you like somebody, even say, I love to work with this person, try and see if you can be with that person
For a
and
longer
for a
period.
longer period to learn, and especially in your journey when you are saying that I want to become a director 10 years from now. So in that 10 years, at least 5 years, at least, or 4 years, you should 40% you should spend time with your mentor to learn. If you say that that person works very well with my temperament, it goes very well with my creative thinking. We have a same wavelength. Then I would like to be with him for as much as he preference to him. The reason that way is that then you are trying to take the essence from your guru and then use it. That will help you rather than hopping from one project to another. Then in 10 years, if you hop and do 10 projects, which is good, you might learn 10 things. But then there is one sort of an, thread, a creative thread you will get from one person or maybe two persons, but somebody whom you take as a mentorship. And another thing which students should do, and I should say, tell them is ask and say, please help me, guide me through. I'm there. There are people who will ready to guide you.
I think it's a big um, message which you just conveyed to the youngsters, because nowadays nobody wants to really, they don't have the patience to grasp as much as possible from one mentor and then create on top of that. They just want to hop and learn as much as possible. They think so. Okay, you have worked with Sharman Joshi. How was your experience working with him? And also, again, were there any particular challenge or any memory that you want to share while you were doing the Least of These, the Graham Sains story?
I think I never faced any challenges on the set. In fact, with Sharman Joshi or any one of them, never faced. That is, I really thankful to God for that. But working with Sharman Joshi, oh, he's a tremendous actor, great actor, and I remember he was doing a play called Raju Rajaram, or I'm forgetting that play, but that was some that play, and we were shooting in Hyderabad, and the play was in Bombay and Pune. Okay. So Friday or Saturday he will go perform the play, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday he used to be on set here. So imagine coming on set at 9 a.m. after your play on Sunday night, catching a flight at 6 a.m., which is getting up at 3 a.m., and then traveling back here and then coming at 9 a.m. directly on the set. That is hats off. That is really hats off. That is. So I feel that dedication helped us. His dedication towards the project, and another thing I really liked about him was he was a great memory, and great actor. So he was like more who got himself, वो कहते हैं हिंदी में कि ढाल लिया अपने आप को उस कैरेक्टर में, तो वो उसने अपने आप को ढाल लिया था उस कैरेक्टर अपने आप को उस कैरेक्टर में. That is why his character has come out wonderful in the film.
So convincing.
Oh yeah, very convincing.
So during production, how do you manage any kind of change which happens with the timetable or let's say the budget? How do you manage? I'm sure you have come across things like that. How do you manage?
I have a very good friend. Again, thanks to Sutra for introducing me. My friend, his name is Sandeep Indani. And we were doing a project, and there was an actress who committed, and she said, she was a young, talented girl, young first time. first timer basically. And then next day we're supposed to shoot at 7 o'clock. She said, no, my parents are not allowing me. Initially, mother are allowed, but father. So anyway, so they're not allowing me to come. So I'm sorry I left out. And then next day was the shoot. So I told Sandeep and I said, Sandeep, let's go and have ice cream and get it from Baskin Robbins, which is next to me. And he got shocked of his life. And he said, yeah, that's how it is. Just thank God for it. So any challenges, any problem, I thank God.
Yes.
The reason is, I keep telling people, मैं किसी का बुरा नहीं करता, तो यदि मेरे साथ कभी बुरा होता है तो अच्छे के लिए होता है, इसलिए कभी बुरा मत करो, कि कभी आपके साथ बुरा होता है वो अच्छे के लिए. And after that we got a very fantastic actress for our series called Rashmi Gautam. So we started shooting after 8 days, and such a great actress, that I'm not saying that the previous one who refused was bad, but I'm saying maybe it was a divine thing for me to happen. So we do face challenges, we do face problems, we do face things which is beyond our expectation, and it will suddenly mushroom or it will drop from nowhere. And then you don't know what to do it, but then you really need to say thank God and be cool, and that is how I do it. Sometimes it is very frustrating, but I prefer to take it cool so that you can plan your next strategy.
Right.
And that happens in life.
Right. For the viewers, I think every time you are facing any challenge, all you have to do is get up and go for an ice cream.
Yeah.
And things will come back to normal.
Yeah, very true. Yeah. So go for an ice cream, and it makes a difference,
Yes.
It makes a difference.
Yes.
Because life is challenge, the journey is a challenge, but you have to take it sweetly and
Sure. And I think, sir, what you said is so correct, that if we believe that whatever happens for the best. Probably at that particular moment we don't see it because we are so blinded by the negativity which is around us at that particular time. But eventually we will know that whatever happened, those were the best laid plans for us.
गीता का एक सार है कि जो हुआ अच्छे के लिए हुआ, जो होगा अच्छे के लिए होगा. तुम क्यों इतने चिंतित हो? That way. So I think we have to have lot of patience in this creative journey.
In Aneesh Daniel's life, a typical day in his life, how does it begin? What do you do? How does it look like?
Difficult to come out of the bed. That is the biggest challenge. But I have tried from last 30-35 years to have my devotion time in the morning. In that, maybe I have been able to achieve at least 80-90%. A little bit more than 90. So I feel the day I have my devotion, mera din acha jayega. So I spend little time in prayer. That is where I have seen that the days when I don't pray, wo din bahut kharab jata hai. It does not work out the way I planned on. So that is very key. Your own connection with divine, I feel, makes a lot of difference. Second, I was not that disciplined previously, but I am disciplined, especially with my health now. The another thing which I do is I write. I still have diaries which are 20, 30, 40, 35 years old.
Oh.
Yeah, so I write. I don't write diary, but I write my task. This is how I do it. ये priority है, ये priority. उसमें इतनी सारी होती हैं जो होती नहीं है. So then I go next day and then I look back and then I write it down. So then I keep, and then sometimes I keep going weeks back and say कि पुराना कुछ काम रुका हुआ है. So this is what taught to me by my mother, and I thank God that she taught me something to write and make a note. So being organized, that way. That is where it helps. You need to, and I've seen so many people, please get this thing done. And they say, oh, I forgot. How can you forget? Write it down. Very simple, write it down. Take a note and write it down. People sometimes now, they do it On phone, I say don't do it on phone because वो phone पे कहीं रहेगा वो फाइल मतलब एटलीस्ट बुक पे आपकी डायरी रहेगी जो डेली मेंटेन होती है कि मैंने ये किया मैंने ये किया मैंने ये किया. So that is what I do it. That is one of my routine of my work devotion, and I keep seeing my work क्या किया है क्या बैलेंस है और उसमें इतने सारे चीज होते हैं जो बहुत बैलेंस होते हैं कि वो कुछ नहीं. आज मेरे को एक बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट ईमेल करना था वो नहीं हो पाया बट दैट इज बीन पेंडिंग फ्रॉम लास्ट 3 months or 2 months, I should say. And that person has sent me 2 reminders, and I'm not getting them. But then that is there in my back of mind. But it is I know people they don't even know कि ये करना था और मैं भूल गया. That. So that is how. So this is one of thing. And then I go early to bed and prefer getting up early in the morning. Nowadays it has been not that early, but then I prefer to be, and it makes a lot of difference when you're early in the morning. When you wake up early in the morning and you start your day early in the morning, you are ahead of everyone.
Absolutely.
You are ahead of everyone. At least 2 घंटे आप हर रोज, if you are ahead with everyone in a week, you are at least 10 hours ahead of everyone.
Right. And I think that's the people who are the morning people. I am not, which but whoever it is, I feel they've always shared one common thing, common aspect, which is like in that quiet in the morning, you have that time to gather your thoughts. So you are already preparing yourself for the day. So you're ahead, as you said. You're already ahead. So in that quiet, you get that all.
Very true. Very true.
Sir, according to you, what is your biggest achievement as a producer and director till date?
I think my feature film, the one which I did with Skypass Production and with Mr. Victory Brown, that film has been my greatest, one of the best achievements, I should say. Not the greatest, I am yet to do a lot of good work. But yes, that film I was trying since 2002 or 2001 and then kept on pushing with persistence. So yes, that film is one of the best, work of mine. So many of years of experience. Least of these Gramstein story.
So in a production, when you are in a project, your team is huge. How do you keep your team motivated? What do you do to foster the team spirit? Is there
I feel, there is a secret to keep your team with, charged. It's a very simple secret, and it is food.
Food?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. How is that? Can you?
See, I think first of all you need to choose the right team. That is of course, but once the team is there, food makes a lot of difference.
Okay.
That keeps the spirit high because I don't feel I don't want people to get up at 6 a.m. and 8 a.m. or whatever time they leave, and then they should be concentrating on making food and coming at different times. So I prefer to see that we eat in the office, there is a food cook, and or at home, or we sometimes order it. Okay, so that is one thing. And a flow of food makes a difference in terms of your mind away from this thing. And I tell people also sometimes in the afternoon, if you want to take rest, please take rest. Please take a nap. That will make a difference of your productivity. That is where, see, on the set when we are there, we are anyway working. But before that, there's a lot of pre-production. Take a nap, take this thing. In fact, there has been time I have seen the guys, my office boy. Sometimes I can see him. He's tired, and I'll say, and he feels little awkward to sit and sleep in the office premises or something. So I say, go and sit in the car and take a nap and come, because that's where at least you are comfortable inside the car and चाबी ले ले and बैठ and थोड़ा सो के आराम करता है, क्योंकि खाने के बाद में there is nothing by 4 o'clock you need to do. So that makes a difference. If you have something which is where the food brings you to an equal level, and I prefer to have people to have food same from the same kitchen by everybody, irrespective of it is an office manager or an office boy. And then the another thing I also prefer is that we all eat on the same plate. So that will make a difference that you are bringing them on an equal level. Food brings you onto an equality. When you all eat together, there are times when people don't want to sit with you and eat, but there are times when everybody has sat together and they say, yeah. So that makes a lot of difference. That is where you treat them on an equal level. The another thing is, I think you have to give the value of labor, value of work, even though that person is only a person who is a काम अपने यहाँ जो काम वाली बाई बोलते हैं ना, you value them also because वो 2 दिन नहीं आती तो आप परेशान हो जाते हो. So that is how it is. So you have to value everybody. That dignity of labor, which we keep talking about it. But yes, motivation to the team, food, evening snacks. There are team members who still remember me bringing donuts for them, and one of them, team member, she called me and she said, "You spoiled me because of jalebis," and one of the team members said, "You spoiled us because of the donuts. You used to bring it." And things like that. So it makes a lot of difference.
No, you've got such a rare and beautiful quality, sir.
Yeah.
Usually, that's that you don't see this quality nowadays.
My house is filled of things, and I keep telling you now we are still working right now from home only, but I keep saying it's lying there. Just please feel free to eat. It makes a difference.
Absolutely, it does.
You're giving them that respect. Yeah, that respect, and if you bring them on an equal level, you make them feel comfortable. You make them feel. That is when they will walk an extra mile for you.
Absolutely. So my next question is, how do you manage a small production budget?
See, there is a very beautiful triangle someone explained me long back. The triangle is time, budget, and quality. So you have to choose one. So if you want quality and you have less time, then you need to have more budgets. But if you have less budget and you still want to give quality, then you need to have more time. So that is the thing. So whenever I meet a client, after discussing everything, I never ask them what is the budget in your mind. I ask them what is the time you have in your mind. And I say, what is your deadline? That is my budget is never my first question. So my first question is what is it? The reason is based on that deadline, it makes a lot of difference. And I keep telling every client that please let have more time so your budgets will be less. You get the right team members. See, everybody is busy nowadays. So if I call a good cameraman and say, sir, I'm busy for next 20 days. But if I have to shoot tomorrow and whosoever is available, I have to shoot. So it is very essential to manage the budget. As I said, this triangle, your time, money, your budgets, and your quality. So I think it will make a lot of difference to give a good quality is if you have less budget, you have a good
more time.
More time. And I have worked with less time also, giving a good quality product. But it makes a lot of difference if you still have a little bit more time. You need to be planned before time. And I have learned this from the Westerners. And this is something which we need to learn. Indians, we need to learn. We do things on the last minute. I have learned from the Westerners that they are so ahead of time. They will plan it 6 months before, and we say, "अरे 6 महीने पहले क्या करेंगे यार?" सोच करके, that way. But then they are ahead of us, and then they keep planning things and all that. That makes a difference. When they ask, once a client came to me from US, and we were, I think, on the phone, and I asked them when is the deadline. They said, "No, वो तो 1 साल के बाद में है, but we are discussing right now." I said, "Right now?" He says, but we need to discuss and we need to find out the right person and all that." I said, "Yeah." And it's so clear that 6 months or 8 months, now they are discussing more in detail. There have been clients who are saying, "Abhi mere ko de do, kal hi de do, parson de do," work karke, that way. How will I do a good creativity? Creativity needs time, creativity needs time. So that is where I have learned a lot from the Westerners. I have worked with a lot of Westerners. and I've seen that they have done things ahead of time. That will make a difference.
Absolutely.
So, as your question, small budget, you need to have time to work on it, and then you can show magic also in that small budget.
What are the strategies which you implement to set a deadline for a project and keep it on schedule?
I think pre-production. Mr. Alfred Hitchcock, the great filmmaker, said that if your pre-production is good, you have done you have achieved 50% of your work. I don't know the exact word, but it means that your pre-production should be good. So you need to do extensive research, you need to do extensive work, you really need to work hard on your research. And your pre-production, basically, I should say, your pre-production is good, you have achieved it. When you are on the shoot, and I'll tell you this comes from a very simple example of my father. We were constructing our house, and my father used to, and from Chhattisgarh. I'm from Chhattisgarh, a very small place called Dalli Rajara, which is an iron ore mine next to Bilai Steel Plant. And things were not so easily available so that you immediately get it. And this was like I'm talking about 30 years back. So my father used to travel 100 kilometers to Raipur or to Bilai and order things and come. So if there is a section of a wall needs to be constructed, he used to bring everything like लोहा आ गया, गिट्टी आ गई, सब चीज ready है. Then proper time पे he will start the construction. That is the planning you need to do. You know that is the way you have to handle it, even in your production, and that is a learning thing from your family. I have learned that from my father. I've learned the same thing from my mother also. That if you are doing something big, you better plan it out, get things done. Otherwise, you will land up paying extra. And my father used to travel all the way to get the stuff on a dealership price and come back. And like morning, you will go 100 kilometers, you will go buy a purchase, come back in the evening or next day, and everything will come by transport. But the point is, you need to have a very strong pre-production. You need to have a very strong pre-production team, and you need to have a very strong research team also. That will make a difference with your production, because once you're in the production, you will not have time. No time. Like a very simple example, I keep saying, one day of film shooting is equivalent to one day of Indian wedding. So what challenges you go through in Indian wedding, if you are not prepared, things will go wrong. Exactly, the production is one day of Indian wedding. They have to be prepared.
Sir, you work with talent partners to cast actors in your production. How do you do that? Do you go through any process, any method?
No, I think any talent partner, which I believe when you hire someone to do that, should walk an extra mile to achieve the talent, because sometimes you might not get a talent through your own resources, but you might get a talent on the street. You might get a talent, like for example, this was long back. I was doing a television series, and there was a kid who came, a 10-year-old kid who came to give the audition. It came with his 8-year-old sister, And then I saw her, and I found that girl definitely, and she became a very good performer in one of my television series. So working with anybody will make a difference if they walk an extra mile to get things done. That is when the magic is, you will see a lot of young talents coming up, because there's a lot of talents everywhere. You need to discover, you need to pick it up. So that makes a lot of difference. But giving to the right talent also takes out so much of pressure from right talent agency. Takes out so much of pressure from your head. You're saying that
You're delegating
you are basically delegating it to the right. That also makes a lot of difference. You really need. Then it helps. Yeah.
Did it ever happen that you 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 thought that there was a need for change in vision, okay, where a project is already done, it is already in production. Did it ever happen to you where you thought that the vision should change?
Change in vision usually has happened many times on the script level because at times when you start thinking and saying that this is what I is my vision, but on the script level you realize that no, it is going this way, then my suggestion is better take that. Those try and see if you can stick to your vision, but in a time period when you are coming up with very interesting ideas. So as the journey flows, it should be like a water where you should see your creative content. Unless and until it's a true story, you cannot do anything. Right. But if it's a fictional story, then you can change the vision in the process when it is in the script level. That will make a lot of difference.
It has to be restricted in the script level only.
Yes, it is better not beyond that. That will be difficult, because if you then go and try and change there might be examples, there might be case studies. I have never gone through that, but it makes a lot of difference that if it is done before that.
How do you supervise camera, lighting, sound, design, all these work in the production? How do you supervise?
So, long back I read this article in Times of India when the businessman J.R.D. Tata, the great businessman, Mr. Ratan Tata, prior to that was the chairman J.R.D. Tata, Mr. Ratan Tata. He said something very interesting, and he said, someone asked him, how do you manage such a big Tata empire? He said, I do three things. I pick up the right person and I pay them rightly. Second, I give them full independence. And third, I sit and relax. So this is where it has gone into my mind, and this was in my early days when I was an assistant. And you need to pick up the right cameraman, you need to pick up the right editor, and they definitely will demand because that's what they are worth. And they also bring value more than that. And you need to give them independence. You definitely need to see that they are in line and length of your vision. But then you need to give them an independence, and then you need to sit and relax. Which the third one does not work. that way it's not so easy. But I think as a filmmaker, you really need to have the right team.
Right. I think that sit and relax may not be an option for you, but definitely it takes away a large chunk of the tension and the anxiety with the correct team members doing your job. It is kind of delegating and giving them the independence also. True. So which post-production software tools usually do you recommend or do you use and why?
So initially when I was working as an assistant, and in that young age you really want to say कि मैं भी कैमरा के बारे जान लूँ, lighting के बारे जान लूँ, या editing software के बारे जान लूँ, and then you want to do everything and you want to know everything, that way. ये light meter होता है, कैसे work करता है light meter, But then through this journey I realized that if you happen to take the right person, I may be knowing FCP, Final Cut Pro, and which I used to like, and prior to that I have worked on it. But then, now I realize and come to a point, that doesn't make a difference. It is a good editor will make a difference, irrespective of what software he or she is using or a color, that one. So basic knowledge you should have. Definitely will make a difference to have a basic knowledge so that you are not fooled by anybody. But I can say that you need to choose the right person and then let them do their job. But basic knowledge you should have of every software you have.
Um, when it comes to release, what kind of plans do you have?
So this is something I have learned after 35 years of my experience. It's so funny that I've learned only after so long, uh, after such a long journey, is the release is happens in the right way when you know your audience very well. So the best thing is when you write a script, you should actually know your audience. You should not say this is a generic film or this thing. And I must suggest every young filmmaker to plan out your release before writing the script or in the process of writing the script. Because the moment you know your audience, let's say for an example, very simple example, you're opening a restaurant and you're opening a restaurant in a place in America, for an example. Who is their audience? This audience are nothing but those Americans who will come. You cannot give them Andhra Tadaka. Right. You know that way. So you know, so you're planning ahead, so plan it out. So that is where you should never take the journey unless and until you know your audience.
You should know your target
You should
audience
target
and then
audience.
plan.
Then when it comes to a release, everything will be smooth. Everything will be smooth then because you've already known your audience and then you will see कि हाँ इस audience को ऐसे target करते हैं इस audience को ऐसे target करते हैं because you need basically to pull them out from their comfort zone and especially nowadays when they are more in a comfort level because they have so much of entertainment going in front of them, you know that when you need to bring them to the screen, so much of content. Now you need to bring something very interesting. You need to say, come and watch it on the big screen because it will make a difference. You need to pull them out from there. You need to shake them up. Probably you have to shake them up and say this is why. So that shaking up your entire marketing will not help. Your shaking up will help your content. Right. So you need to prepare your content in a way that you should shake up the audience and say, okay, let's go and watch it.
So my next question is sort of related, but if you can expand on it, what would be, according to you, the most effective marketing strategy? So I know you just said that you have to understand your target audience to that of your content. You have to relate. But is there any particular strategy that you can recommend while while a production is happening?
So this is again I have learned something from the West. In India, I don't know, maybe it is because of the fear of piracy or what. The film gets over and then they release it in next week or 2 weeks or 3 weeks. Maximum after a month. In West, they release it after 6 months. Because they do a proper marketing, they do a proper research, they do a proper, and I'm not trying to say follow them, but then you need to have a proper time. You need to have a proper way to approach the thing. We do in such a hurry that this has to come on December 25th, or this has to come 26th January, which is fine. If you have decided a date, which is fine, but then at least prepare your content much before that date. You know, if somebody is saying today is December 23rd, and we'll say we'll have to release it in December 24th, December 2024 December, which is only 1 year from now, then it'll keep running. Where will you get to market your product? So you need to pause and take a little breath and say, okay, let's market it this way because every aspect of filmmaking is very important. The moment the films are made with passion. Films are made with passion. After the film is made, it is all business. So your passions you have brought it to this level. Now it is a business. So you will have to work out. Now there is no passion because audience will not come because of a passion. Neither distributor will take it because of passion. Neither your own family relative distributor will take it because of the passion or the theater owners. It is all business. So you need to understand this level of business for the passion you are with the passion whatever you are working, you need. So when you are saying what strategy you need to have, you need to have time for the marketing. Never rush for the marketing so fast, because it will make a difference. And I'm not saying that you need to have a certain date for your film release. All that is fine. That is on a superficial level of marketing. The core level of marketing is you need to understand the mindset of the audience, see the right time and do it.
So, what according to you would be an appropriate time period for marketing? Let's say, like, you just said that it's going to be a rush thing if it is just a year from. So, on an average, what do you think should be?
So I happened to meet a very good friend of mine. His name is Stephen James. He came here in India, and he's a novelist, and he has written number of novels, maybe 15, 16 novels. He was recently here in Hyderabad, and we had a talk, and we were talking about AI subject. And he said he has written a novel, and that novel came in 2017. And he said, I am little ahead of the time in 2017 to come up with AI. If I would have, the AI novel would have come now, would have been good. So that is what it is so essential that you need to have that time very well set.
Right.
And that means you need to foresee. See, wisdom, you need to be wise, and the definition of wisdom is to foresee the truth ahead. As per Latin or Greek, the definition of wisdom is to foresee the truth ahead. So you need to foresee and see that will it work on that time period or not. Then you create something, it will make a difference. So this is more into the detailing of you're planning a project. Sometimes there are a lot of projects which comes suddenly and say, oh, this story is interesting, which is very nice, but will that work out with the audience now? This probably story would have worked very well 15 years back, but now will that work with that generation of audience? What will be the generation ahead? What can you think about it? And how can you be wise enough to understand the future and say this is how it will work? So that will make a lot of it.
So it's passion come plus time plus wisdom.
Plus wisdom.
Everything together will make a project successful.
Yes, very true, very true.
That is what.
And you need to have a little bit of a business strategy.
Absolutely.
To make a difference when audience you create a need for them. An audience should watch them. This is again long back saying, and this is what I have heard in my journey of life. When there was a director with whom I've been working, and they were talking amongst themselves. And that time there was a lot of action-oriented films were coming in. He said, "This is the time to make a love story."
Yeah, for a change, something new, something refreshing. So,
if right now there is a big anti-hero films are running, the big films are running right now, and they are action films and all that. Immediately, don't write an action film, write a love story. Because everybody will be running for that, and then write a love story.
Right. So thank you so much for spending time, giving us so much of insight and your knowledge. It meant a lot for our viewers, I'm sure. Before we wrap it up, is there any message that you want to give to our viewers or the upcoming filmmakers?
I think I don't have immediately to say anything, but discipline is one key element which we all need. Hard work, of course, but more than all this, more than that, I should say being a good human being.
Absolutely. Well said.
Because our industry, and I think in every industry, the moment you have an attitude, your own close friends will not come close to you. And the moment you are humble, people are there to lift you up. Because you need to be humble, you need to be a good human being. You need to do things in the right way. Even there are chances that nobody is watching it, but you need to do things in the right way. Like say for an example, even opening a chips packet, don't open it upside down. It doesn't make a difference that you open it upside down. Nobody will say anything about it. But then you need to practice the attitude of doing things right way. This is the right way. You can experiment of doing it and changing it. That's a different thing. But there is some sort of a pattern there to work on everything. The moment you have to do and learn the rules, then only you will learn to break the rules.
That is like a conscious move that I am
Yes.
taking. That yes, I'm going to do it differently, but with caution.
With caution.
So there is a thought
Yes,
behind
yes.
it.
And I think we should, as human beings, should be a good human being. We should, in fact, because being a Christian, I know this. Jesus said, one of the disciples asked him, "What are the big two commandments?" And he says, "Love your God as your, as the only God." And the second one, which I'm emphasizing on, is love your neighbor. That way. So anybody, then they asked him, "Who is the neighbor?" And then he said, "Anybody who is next to you or anybody." So love people, human being. I think that is so essential. What I'm trying to say, you need to be a good human being. There has to be no caste, there has to be no color, because we are working together for one project or one goal. In a football, they never say you are black or you are white or you are this and you are that or you are tall. We all work for that particular goal. So then once you are there, then it makes a lot of difference. So I will suggest everyone be a good human being. That will make a lot of difference, and keep yourself humble.
Fantastic. What a way to wrap it up. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you once again. Thank you so much
Thank
for
you.
watching us.